Now, your first weather.
And scattered rain showers continue across parts of northeast Arkansas. Latest radar actually shows most of the rain kind of leaving the area, getting down to our south and off to our east. Still got a few light rain showers up to our north, though. They kind of will linger through the area here overnight tonight. But a majority of the rain will be done for the overnight hours. We'll have a nice dry day on Thursday. Still chilly, but another batch of rain moves in late Thursday and into Friday before we clear it out just in time for the upcoming weekend. And we'll talk more about that with your full forecast coming up. But first, your local news starts now.
Northeast Arkansas News is brought to you by Glenn Sain.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for your Northeast Arkansas Late News. I'm Josh Egbert. Meredith has the night off. In just 2 days, 5 people have been shot in the city of Jonesboro. Jonesboro police were called out to Galaxy Street and National around 6 o'clock this evening for a reported shooting. JPD Sergeant Lyle Waterworth says 4 people were taken to the hospital with gunshot wounds. At this time, they are looking for 2 unidentified suspects. JPD is still working on getting more details. Anyone with information is encouraged to call JPD, or if they want to remain anonymous, to call Crime Stoppers at 870-935-STOP. We'll, of course, continue to follow the story and bring you any new developments. Now to yesterday's shooting on West Huntington. Northeast Arkansas's Alexis Padilla updates us on the case, including information about the victim.
Just scared for my kids. We live so close that it's just too close to home for comfort.
It was a rough start for 2019 for some in Jonesboro. The Jonesboro Police Department was called out to a barber shop on West Huntington around 1:30 p.m. New Year's Day. When they arrived on scene, they found 35-year-old Lewis Gamble with multiple gunshot wounds.
Officers rendered aid and got him in an ambulance as quickly as possible, got him to the hospital where he later passed away.
JPD says the suspect is 29-year-old Marcus Gentry.
They found him at an address in South Jonesboro where he was taken into custody without incident.
According to an affidavit, Gentry went to the barbershop to confront Gamble about something. Gentry is facing charges for first-degree murder and has been given a $5 million bond. A prosecuting attorney appeared in his probable cause hearing today, pleading for the high bond. She said Gentry is a self-admitted gang member with warrants out in Houston, Texas, and convictions on multiple felonies already. The shooting has left neighbors feeling uneasy about their home.
It's not typically dangerous, but I mean, just a couple of weeks ago there was a drive-by at the same place. Those things are worrisome, and that's why we're looking for a different place.
They are warning people to be careful.
You better watch your back and be extra careful, because you never know now what's going to happen.
For Northeast Arkansas News, I'm Alexis Padilla.
Gentry will be in court again on January 31st. Workers from Big Unc's Barbershop say that they will be having a candlelight vigil for Gamble tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Well, a new year means new laws. 2 of the biggest changes, including the minimum wage increase and reduction in grocery store taxes. Northeast Arkansas residents are expected to reap the rewards for more spending dollars. The Arkansas grocery tax reduced from 1.5% to 0.125%. The tax applies to nearly all grocery items with the exception of alcohol and other specialties. According to legislators, this won't negatively impact grocery store chains. Minimum wage has bumped up from $8.50 to $9.25 an hour.
If they have more money, then they're going to spend more money. They're going to go out and they're going to buy things that they need that they couldn't afford before, or things that they might want. What that does is that stimulates our economy, because that money turns over in the economy.
Representative Ladyman believes that the minimum wage increase will be beneficial for those working in food and retail. He says legislators will watch to see if higher overhead costs will be passed on to consumers. Craighead County Judge Marvin Day will be the first county judge to serve a 4-year term and says there is a lot to accomplish. Northeast Arkansas's Simone Jamison has more.
Marvin Day was officially sworn in as Craighead County Judge on January 1st. He's getting intentional about making improvements to county infrastructure and criminal justice system, calling for upgrades to the county courthouse on South Main Street in Jonesboro.
Our courthouse was built in the late 80s, and the community's grown. You know, we're almost, well, I guess a little over 30 years since our last expansion to our facilities. It's probably the right time for us to really look at what needs to be done and make a long-term plan for where we are and where we need to be.
Those plans include expanding the courtroom, holding 275 people at maximum. Judge Day says the initiative to remodel the county courthouse comes after receiving multiple complaints of there not being enough space inside the courtroom or enough personnel to handle the flow of traffic in this building. He says now plans are in the works to form a special committee addressing those needs directly. County officials applied for a historic preservation grant to restore the old courthouse last fall. Giving the new courthouse on West Washington Avenue a makeover is also on their agenda. Day stresses his focus for all changes is using tax dollars efficiently.
We're going to really try to better understand a more efficient way for us to manage our court system that the county and other entities involved with that can afford.
For Northeast Arkansas News, I'm Simone Jameson.
Plans are also underway to expand the Craighead County Jail. No timeline or budget has been set for those upgrades. Well, if you want to clean your yard, you could be leaving a problem for the city. Jonesboro Street Department workers were out in the streets today cleaning out leaves from ditches and pipes. The street department is asking for people to take a look at how they clean their yard waste. They are asking people to rake up their leaves and put them into a bag that the sanitation department can then pick up. Street Department Director Steve Tippett says raking your leaves into the curb or drains is actually detrimental for flooding.
When we get these heavy rains like we've been having, it washes out in the gutters and gets in our storm drains and stops our ditches up. And that causes us, every time it rains, we have to get out and actually have crews run drains and unstop the pipes to keep people from flooding.
Tippett says every little bit helps make their job easier. In health news tonight, new studies are showing a link between practicing mindfulness and weight loss. Participants who attended mindfulness lessons while trying to lose weight were found to be more successful than those who didn't. On average, participants who took the mindfulness course lost 6.3 more pounds than those who didn't. And those who did also reported having a healthier attitude toward food, as well as boosted self-esteem and confidence. According to the World Health Organization, at least 2.8 million people die each year due to conditions linked to being overweight or obese. Weight gain and obesity are caused by eating incorrectly for long periods, which is often triggered by behaviors like emotional eating, binge eating, and yo-yo dieting. Well, the stock market kicking off 2019 on a sour note. This as big technology companies took more losses. Apple and Amazon each fell about 2% in early trading today, as did Microsoft. Netflix tumbled 3.5%. Markets were closed Tuesday for New Year's Day. Stocks are coming off their worst year in a decade as investors worry about slowing global economic growth and trade tensions between the U.S. and China. Well, Tesla is cutting prices of its 3 vehicles by $2,000. The company making the move to help customers handle the gradual phase out of federal electric vehicle tax credits. On January 1st, the federal credit for Tesla buyers dropped from $7,500 to a little under $4,000. This will gradually be phased out this year. The company's sales included almost 146,000 Model 3 lower-priced cars and another 99,000 of the more expensive Model S sedan and Model X SUV. The Model 3 starts at $35,000 but still can't be purchased for under $45,000. Well, NASA's New Horizons spacecraft is beaming back images from 4 billion miles away. In its sights was an icy object nicknamed Ultima Thule, which may reveal secrets of the universe. Hillary Lane has that story from New York.
NASA's mission team is celebrating the first clear look at its most distant target, an icy object more than 4 billion miles from Earth. The first image was a blurry bowling pin, but now better pictures are arriving.
That bowling pin is gone. It's a snowman, if it's anything at all. And it's only really the size of something like Washington, D.C., and it's about as reflective as garden variety dirt.
They call it Ultima Thule, meaning beyond the known world. The New Horizons spacecraft snapped the picture during a flyby on New Year's Day. It sent the image through space 1 pixel at a time, to mission headquarters in Maryland.
We were basically chasing it down in the dark at 32,000 miles an hour, and all that had to happen just right.
Ultima Thule sits on the frozen fringes of our solar system. Scientists believe it was formed over 4 billion years ago out of 2 separate lobes.
There are no obvious impact craters, and there are suggestions of hills and ridges. We think what we're looking at is perhaps the most primitive object that has yet been seen by any spacecraft.
The New Horizons spacecraft has been in flight since 2006 and had its unprecedented rendezvous with Pluto in 2015. It's now 1 billion miles beyond that point and still hurtling towards the outer edge of the solar system.
The best close-ups of Ultima Thule won't arrive until February. Those images should reveal whether it has any rings, moons, or craters. Well, still ahead here on Northeast Arkansas News, Nick gives us a look at the upcoming NFL playoff weekend games. And one American man has been detained in Russia for espionage charges while facing up to 20 years in prison if charged. The U.S. is fighting for his freedom.
And we just see a little bit of light rain around northeast Arkansas earlier today. About 1/10 of an inch is what we saw here so far. Most of the rain has come to an end. Could still see a little drizzle overnight. A cloudy and cool day for your Thursday, but more rain increasing for the end of the work week. We'll talk about that when we come back.
Police continue the investigation of the disappearance of a 5-year-old girl in Gulfport and the discovery of a body in a trailer park nearby. We'll have details for you coming up on News 25.
I'm Sarah Duffy. Friends and family of 5-year-old Janaea Thompson are grieving today after their worst nightmares came true. We'll have their emotional responses up next.
Is human trafficking an issue here on the coast? I'm Melissa Meisner. Coming up on News 25, the Jackson County DA's office hosts a human trafficking workshop to educate the public and local police departments about this issue.
You're watching WXXV News 25, your local choice at 5:30. With Jennifer Tubwell, Joe Sullivan, and Nick Patrick.
The body of a 5-year-old Gulfport girl who went missing last night was recovered by police at an abandoned trailer on Whitney Road.
Janaea Thompson went missing around 8:30 last night from the Palms apartment complex where she lived with her mother and grandmother. Gulfport police partnered with search units from all over the state and recovered her body at 8:45 this morning at 14475 Whitney Road in the bathroom of the trailer. A Gulf Coast search and rescue canine picked up the scent off Janaea's t-shirt and led police to her body. Police are continuing to investigate what happened to 5-year-old Janaea and are treating the case as a homicide.
Harrison County is treated as a homicide, and as we work through the case, get the autopsy done, get that information, then we work our way back. If we need to scale it down to something else, we will, but right now, as it stands, it's being investigated as a homicide by all departments.
We are going into the next phase of that investigation. I ask that y'all be patient with our release of information. This is not a story, it's a tragedy.
We are looking into any information that we receive that may also be a vital piece of information that will aid in the investigation. And once again, this investigation is ongoing.
News 25's Katerina Lukacic spoke with the girl's family today, and she joined us live from the crime scene in Gulfport.
Joe, it really is a somber scene here, just as it was a few hours ago when the coroner broke the news to Janaea Thompson's family. More than 100 people gathered here at the scene offering emotional support to get this family through this tragic event. It's the worst news any parent could hear. Dermal Thompson has learned he has lost his only child, 5-year-old Janaea Thompson.
I'm upset because I lost my best friend today, and how the situation is, I'm pretty much knowing what happened, and that's what's upsetting me.
According to Thompson, a heavy-set, bearded white male who lives in the Palms apartment complex where Janaea lived showed a lot of interest in the search for Janaea last night. Thompson says the man picked him up in a car around 12:30 and drove him around in search for his daughter. Thompson says neighbors saw the same man early this morning with a small bite mark and scratches on his arm. The man is now nowhere to be found. Although police have not named any suspects, Thompson believes this man was involved.
He basically just knew my daughter everyday life, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't pay no mind. It didn't catch my attention until the bite marks and the scratches was brought to my attention.
Police have been working since late last night and will continue their investigation until they uncover what happened to Janaea. And while appreciative of law enforcement's efforts, Thompson wishes more was done.
They let the suspect go. And, you know, like, they were a big help, but, you know, you let the perp go. Yeah. You know, so, you know, but I really appreciate what they did, you know.
And justice is what Thompson now hopes for while his family gets through the nightmare of losing their only child.
I'm holding up pretty good, all for the benefit of her mom, because she is hospitalized right now. And, you know, one of us has to be strong.
Our thoughts are most certainly with Janaea's family. As you can see, there are teddy bears and balloons behind me. This is still a very active crime scene with FBI going in and out of the abandoned trailer as we speak. The family and the community are hoping that this investigation will bring some sort of justice to the tragic events of the past 24 hours. Live in Gulfport, Katerina Lukatich, News 25.
Everyone's worst nightmare came true today for all of those who knew Janaea.
At the Palms apartment in Gulfport there. Now, family, friends, and neighbors often saw her playing around the neighborhood, but today her lifeless body was found in an abandoned trailer not far from home, leaving an entire community, of course, reeling with disbelief, shock, and sorrow. News 25's Sarah Duffy was at the scene today. She joins us live in studio with more. Sarah.
Thanks, Jennifer. It was with heavy hearts that family, friends, and neighbors learned of Janaea Thompson's fate. And while there are still a lot of questions about what led to her death, people we spoke to are finding it hard to believe the little bright-eyed girl is gone. Emotions erupted when the news broke, confirming everyone's worst fears. A body was found in an abandoned trailer not far from where 5-year-old Janaea Thompson was playing before she disappeared. This after a massive overnight manhunt.
I swear every apartment resident was out looking for her. We all had our flashlights, looking every nook and cranny, even all the way to the school, to the playground at the school, and just everybody came together to try to find her.
Kruger says Janaea, better known as Nene by her family and friends, was very outgoing for her age. She believes the little girl's sweet nature could have played a role in her disappearance.
She would pet our dogs if we were out walking, because she was up all over this apartment, and then she would pet our neighbors' dogs and everything like that. So she was friendly, which was, you know, is a great quality, but it's also, you know, concerning quality to have.
Nene's death hit close to Mariah Tuckett's heart.
I don't know who would do that to a 5-year-old girl. That's a baby. I swear, that's like a little bitty baby. Like, she might have a good future ahead of her. Like, people just don't think of that.
Sheila Lovejoy is a mother of 2. She was one of the hundreds of people who scoured the area throughout the night.
I texted my 18-year-old this morning. I know that's pretty sad, but just to make sure she was okay.
Lovejoy says her stomach is in knots for the young girl's mother.
It really feels like it's her fault, and she just needs to know that it's not her fault.
Having lost a child close to her, Tanya Kruger aches for Nene and her family, knowing that the journey ahead will be long and difficult.
You just try to get through the anger, and you try to find the peace.
In the meantime, friends and neighbors say they'll be there for the family every step of the way. Residents at the Palms Apartments tell News 25 that vigils and other events are being planned in Janaea's honor. We will give you those details as they become available. For News 25, I'm Sarah Duffy.
This afternoon, Gulfport Mayor Billy Hughes released the following statement. Our thoughts and prayers are with the family of Janaea Thompson. This tragedy has rocked the foundation of our community. We have confidence in the compassion and professionalism of our police officers and will devote all resources at our disposal to the solving of this crime. We ask our community support the efforts of this investigation and for the continued prayers for the family.
Now here's forecaster Nick Patrick with a quick look at your weather. Nick.
Well, temperatures not climbing too high today, and right now we're still in those mid-80s, dropping a little bit from those daytime highs. Getting to 88 here in Gulfport. That's exactly what we're seeing up in Wiggins right now, that 88-degree mark. A beautiful day, really, but this is going to change quickly. Plenty of sunshine, as I mentioned. Taking a look at the Doppler edge, a few clouds starting to drift in now. We've seen this mid-layer of clouds throughout the day, helping keep that sunshine out and keep those temperatures down. But here's what we're looking at heading our direction, folks. A large portion here of showers and thunderstorms slowly tracking to the east. As it does, we're going to get a taste of that tomorrow. Overnight tonight, a few clouds building up, temperatures dropping. Not quite as cold as the last night, 73 degrees, but things warm right back up. Thunderstorms this weekend. I'll let you know what you can expect.
After a major commercial sex trafficking bust last month in Jackson County, police forces are taking note of human trafficking on the coast.
Today, Jackson County District Attorney's Office hosted a seminar for local law enforcement to learn what they can do to find and prosecute trafficking. News 25's Alyssa Meisner has the story.
Mississippi doesn't usually come to mind when human trafficking comes up, but state officials say our easy highway, water, and airport access could be seen by criminals as an ideal route for human trafficking.
And Mississippi, we're on the way to a lot of different places. Between Texas and Florida and Atlanta and Chicago, we're kind of a crossroads.
Wagner and the state attorney general's office emphasized the need for multiple human trafficking task forces throughout the state, but resources are limited for local law enforcement agencies. Despite the challenges, Jackson County joined forces with city police departments, the sheriff's department, DA's office, and federal agencies to create a task force.
Unfortunately, it is a bigger problem and a growing problem that we're seeing on the coast. Several years ago, we started hearing some problems about it, so we put together a task force.
Jackson County DA Tony Lawrence says here at the courthouse he can more easily prosecute human trafficking crimes because of new laws in the state of Mississippi.
Changes put into place that hit the demand side as opposed to the victim side were put into effect as of July 1st of 2013.
That means harsher penalties for the pimps instead of the prostitutes. But even for agencies already involved in the task force, more education is needed to first identify possible trafficking rings.
Our officers and the general public are really not schooled in this area and don't know some of the signs to look for. And that's one of the things we hope to start correcting here today.
The district attorney's office will continue holding classes, arming our community with education to help fight against human trafficking crimes. In Pascagoula, Alyssa Meisner, News 25.
There are over 100 taxi cabs operating in Harrison County. 60 have been cited for safety violations this year.
Now, these violations range from minor issues like blown out headlights to major issues like worn out tires. News 25's Mark Armstrong joins us live from a local taxi cab with the details. Mark.
Thanks, guys. Taxis in Harrison County are regulated by the Motor Vehicle for Hire Authority, and according to this authority, most of the taxis in the county are minivans. The authority says that these minivans are not designed to be taxis, and that causes them to have a lot of wear and tear on the vehicle. Now, they don't want you to be alarmed. The reason that they have such strict standards is to maintain a high level of consumer confidence in the taxi business here on the coast. Now today, News 25 spoke with the Vice President for the Gulf Coast Cab Company, Paige Coker, and asked her how these high standards were affecting her business. Here's what she had to say.
This is a very stringent inspection process here. It's one of the strictest ones I've seen in the history of the years I've done this.
Do you think it's fair or unfair?
I think it's fair. We are providing a service to the general public. Every vehicle should be the same, whether it's my company or another company's. Every rider should have the exact same experience in the back of the taxi cab.
We'll continue to cover changes in the industry and the regulations, especially the ongoing controversy about how these strict standards are affecting small businesses. Reporting live in Gulfport for News 25, I'm Mark Armstrong.
All right, thanks, Mark. Coming up after the break, Nick Patrick will have a detailed forecast, but first, here's a look at your tides for Friday.
We're 110 over, okay. You want to get rid of the plane crash or?
No.
The Weather Edge brought to you by Mississippi Power. For hurricane safety tips and more, visit our storm center at MississippiPower.com. We're storm ready. Are you?
Yeah. Okay, we're going to have it on 9 and 10.
Yeah, just because
we're
we're
a minute
over.
10 over.
That should be perfect.
And Nick,
then.
you see you have 2:30 for the segment? It's in the rundown, yeah.
Okay,
Thanks.
Ukrainian officials say all 295 people on board.
The Weather Edge, brought to you by Mississippi Power. For hurricane safety tips and more, visit our Storm Center at MississippiPower.com. We're storm ready. Are you?
Well, those daytime highs are predicted yesterday right on the money. We made it up to 88 degrees here in Gulfport, 85 for Biloxi, low humidity, beautiful day outside. A little bit of cloud cover, not too much sunlight. That actually helped keep these temperatures down a little bit as well. Made it to 87 over in Pascagoula, so a fairly warm day outside, much cooler than those average highs in the mid-90s. And taking a look right now, things are already cooling off from those daytime highs. We're up to 85 now in Gulfport, 84 for Gaucher, dropping down to 82 already. For Pascagoula, these temperatures are going to continue to cool off a little bit, but some cloud cover is going to be on the way, and as well as some winds out of the south. We've been seeing those northerly winds for most of the day. That help keep that humidity down, keep that moisture out of there. But you're still seeing some winds out of the northeast there in Mobile. Those are shifting though, now out of the east, southeast, and really out of the south for much of the Gulf Coast right now. South out of Gulfport, that's going to draw in a little bit more humidity. As it does, that's going to allow those clouds to develop a little bit more as well. So taking a look downtown Gulfport right now, we're seeing the thick layer of cloud cover slowly tracking towards us from the west there. We're going to be looking at that heading our direction. Some showers and thunderstorms along with that as we head into tomorrow. Right now, mostly cloudy skies, 83 degrees. Look at that relative humidity though, folks, 59% there. The feels like temperature only a few degrees above, and winds out of the south starting to bump those feels likes up. It was closer to the actual temperature for much of the day until those winds shifted, as I mentioned. So we're going to be keeping an eye on these cooling temperatures, but things aren't going to cool off a whole lot more. Doppler edge, as I mentioned, those clouds starting to build up a little bit over the next few hours. They're going to continue to do that, traveling from the southwest to the northeast there. And as we take a wider look at the radar, we're going to see some showers and thunderstorms slowly heading our direction. You see a large swath here making their way towards us. Let's go and take it to the future edge and show what happens here. We're going to be waking up tomorrow morning, things drying up, and then we should start to see a stray shower possible early on. Some stronger thunderstorms, though, are going to move through South Mississippi. They're right around the early afternoon into the early evening hours as well. Pop-up showers and thunderstorms. That's going to be thanks to a warm front slowly making its way through. As we head into Saturday, more rain is on the way. We're going to be looking at a lot of rainfall really over the next few days now that we've seen a little bit of a cool off and a clear out over South Mississippi. Saturday really a washout. Not a good weekend to be outside at all. I would suggest staying indoors really. Going to be a lot of rainfall. High humidity as well all the way through Sunday. Overnight tonight we're dropping temperatures down into those upper 60s, low 70s really for much of the region there. 67 for Loosedale and Sosha, 72 in Biloxi. So temperatures are going to be slowly climbing though. Really showers and thunderstorms all the way through this week through Tuesday.
Ukrainian officials say all 295 people on board a Malaysian Airlines jet are dead after the plane was shot down over eastern Ukraine. The flight was leaving Amsterdam when it crashed with 280 passengers and 15 crew members on board. President Obama called the crash a terrible tragedy and spoke about it on the phone with Russian President Vladimir Putin. The Ukrainian government in Kiev and the pro-Russian rebels in eastern Ukraine have each accused each other of shooting the aircraft down.
Coming up on News 25, we'll head to Ocean Springs and see how the school district is getting ready for the new school year. Stay with us. We're coming right back. It may be summertime, but the Ocean Springs School District is working hard to prepare for the upcoming school year.
From hiring its first school police chief to finishing up some road work, the school district is staying busy. News 25's Sarah Duffy has more.
This week, the Ocean Springs School District announced Carrie Fountain will be joining its faculty as police chief. Fountain is a Jackson County constable and was a Biloxi police officer for more than 10 years.
We're delighted that he'll be joining us in terms of the police chief position within the next month. And we, of course, look forward to our officers continuing to protect our students and continuing to protect our staff.
With Fountain's leadership, Coleman Potter hopes to add more resource officers to the Ocean Springs schools.
In terms of having armed guards at our high school, at our middle school, having school resource officers within our upper elementary, and hopefully some presence very soon at our lower elementary, that required that we had a police chief.
The school district, along with the Gulfport School District, will be starting school a little later than other South Mississippians. This will give construction crews plenty of time to finish widening Highway 57 in front of the new high school.
I talked to the Board of Supervisor President again today. He says construction is on schedule, with the exception of if we experience any rain. Hopefully that project will be completed mid-August.
Ocean Springs students start school on August 18th. In Ocean Springs, Sarah Duffy, News 25.
Coming up on News 25, outdoor reporter Barry Foster will join us live in studio with favorite places to fish here on the Gulf Coast. All right.
Barry, you want to do my check? Hi, I'm Barry Foster.
Nick, can we get you to go 115 here?
Chance of showers, and I'm replacing.
Get up there just so I can get it.
All right, Nick will have 115.
Okay. Nick will have 115.
You see, Friday we have 60%. Oh, I'm good. Gracias. Better shirt, Jennifer? I'm going to wear a tie next week. Coat and tie.
That's a surprise.
I actually have one.
You do your thing, Barry.
Pardon?
You do your thing. You do what you do.
Second Edge weather.
Well, chilly temperatures to start our morning here in South Mississippi. 67 for Biloxi, right on with 68 for Gulfport. Temperatures rose about 20 degrees today, really across much of the region. We're starting to cool off a little bit already. Let's go and take a look at those temperatures across the United States. We're seeing cool temperatures, especially in the Little Rock region here, coming in at 66 degrees. This is all thanks to a large body of showers and thunderstorms slowly making its way towards us. And as it does, it's going to be involved a stationary front and a warm front lifting, and that's what's going to give us some showers and thunderstorms for tomorrow. You can see that as we head into the Doppler edge here, bringing in this little showers and thunderstorms right here, an area of low pressure just behind this, dragging along that warm front that's going to be lifting into South Mississippi, and that's going to, as I mentioned, really trigger some strong showers and thunderstorms potentially for tomorrow. Let's go and take it to that future edge rainfall. Now, overnight tonight, not expecting a whole lot, but as we head into tomorrow morning, the rain starts coming down hard. We're going to be looking at really widespread rainfall all the way through Saturday morning. Look at that, folks. Future edge rain totals bringing in over 4 inches in Socia and Wiggins, closer to 3 inches in Gulfport and Biloxi, 2.28 inches there. So a lot of rainfall on the way. Here's why. Look at that 7-day forecast. Lots of rain heading our direction Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Starts to wrap up a little bit Monday, and we dry out in the middle of next week.
The News 25 Weekend Outdoors Report, sponsored by Dad's Super Pond, your hunting and fishing authority.
With us now is our outdoor reporter, Barry Foster. And of course, Barry, we understand there's been a big change to one of the top fishing spots here in our area.
Yeah, there has, Jennifer. I mean, Chandelier Island is, by not just local anglers, but worldwide, has been known as one of the best fishing spots. And this year, it just hasn't produced as many have become used to it producing. So,
what's the problem?
Well, there's a lot of guesswork going on, Joe, and I don't have, this isn't scientific data that there's more sharks showing up in the area, but observational data says that I've seen a lot more sharks in the area, and maybe they're eating all those fish, or maybe they're just scaring them out of there.
So what is your best advice for people looking to fish in this area?
Well, fishing is cyclical, Jennifer. This has happened to other places for whatever climate reasons or whatever, that fishing has slowed down. It is cyclical, and it probably will come back. Don't give up on it, but for right now, just skip that spot and go to your next favorite spot.
All right, thank you very much, Barry. It won't be good fishing weather this weekend, unfortunately. Nick will have a forecast after the break. Stay with us. We're coming right back.
Now on 59 News at 6, hospital sale. State legislators consider selling hospitals across the state.
Shelter cuts. A domestic abuse safe house is forced to let 5 people go.
Mother on trial. The mom whose boy died in a septic tank in Virginia goes to trial today.
From the Frontier Communications Studio, this is CBS 59. 59 News at 6 starts now.
Traffic is at a standstill tonight on Interstate 77 on the Mercer-Raleigh County line. Welcome to 59 News at 6. I'm Jessica Schuler.
And I'm Tim Carrico. We are now following breaking news on the West Virginia Turnpike. Let's take a look here as our winter weather desk is activated. At least 20 cars were involved in this accident. We're learning actually 20 to 40 cars involved in this accident. The accident happened along I-77 around mile marker 24. Multiple units are responding. Mercer County is sending 14 units to help with this accident. These are photos that are just coming into our newsroom. As you can see here, just terrible conditions. We're actually getting viewer video that is just coming into the station. We're preparing that to get that on the air. Again, 20 to 40 cars that are on the northbound lanes of I-77 on this pileup. It is urged tonight, stay off the roads. I-77 northbound is closed in this area around mile marker 24. The southbound lanes have just reopened. We're learning that traffic, though, in that area is crawling. But again, 20 to 40 car pileup in that area. Be sure to avoid that area. It's going to take a lot of time for crews to get out there and clean this mess up, because we just got hit so hard with all of that snow.
And we are learning as well, just to make sure that everyone knows that no injuries have been reported, no deaths yet. Again, not a lot of snow out there right now, but very slick conditions, and the snow's continuing to fall. So we're keeping you updated on this breaking story. Again, this is in the Flat Top Gen area. This is right on the Raleigh-Mercer County line. I-77 northbound there. We're continuing to get new photos and images coming into our newsroom of this accident. So if you're watching tonight, or if you're out maybe even seeing our live stream on your phone right now and you're out there stuck in these conditions, please send us those photos. Send us video if you have it as well. And of course, we're just going to continue to update you as our winter weather desk is activated. We're anticipating even more snow.
Absolutely. And we are learning, just stay off of those roads, 20 to 40 cars, and we will have much more. We have a crew at the scene. We're getting ready to take a live shot here in just a moment. But first, let's get a check of the forecast now with Storm Tracker 59 Chief Meteorologist Spencer Adkins. He's standing by live over in the weather lab with a check of the forecast. Spencer?
And so people are telling us that at 4:30 the road was completely clear, and then we had thunder snow. And that is, think about a thunderstorm with snow, think about the intense rate of a downpour of rain. It was an intense rate of downpour of snow right over the Flat Top area. And of course the wreck was situated right here on the county line between Raleigh and Mercer. Now there's nothing going on. Lightning now has, the past 5 minutes, we've dropped down to none, but I circled the area. We just had 4 lightning strikes here, excuse me, between Hinton, Alderson, and Union. That area, again, is receiving some very heavy snow. Right now, it is just coming down in snow buckets, if you will. And again, I'm thinking about, the Sandstone area here, too, in Summers County. You got the big drop and the big rise on both sides of that, so you want to be super, super careful there. This is now making its way through Greenbrier County. This is just the first burst of snow. Now, it leaves something like a half of an inch, maybe an inch, as we saw on some of the untreated surfaces, but that's pretty amazing. And the air temperature is actually plenty warm to allow this to melt. It's instantaneous. It's like a wall of snow that's coming down all at once. And we'll get into more squalls as the night goes on. So here's the first batch of energy coming through. There's a gap, several hours, and then we'll expect more snow tonight. So just again, when you run into the squalls, you got to slow down, got to leave extra room. That one was just pretty much off the charts. The rest of these, they're pretty stout. I think they'll lose some intensity as the night wears on. Probably not much too more in the way of thunder snow tonight, certainly to hope not. And then lighter stuff back here to the west, that's a light, fluffy kind of a snowflake for a couple of days. So I'll be back in just a few minutes to tell you more about that. But again, right now, if you're in Greenbrier County, Eastern Summers, and Monroe, that big burst of snow is coming your way. That'll put down a quick 1/2 inch to an inch and make driving treacherous.
All right, thanks a lot, Spence. And we are going to continue to follow this pile up over on the Raleigh-Mercer County line of I-77 northbound. Now, this is coming from Princeton to Beckley. We will have a live report coming up just a little bit later on in the newscast. But we do have some more news of the day. A controversial new gun bill is a big step closer to becoming law in West Virginia. This afternoon, the House approved getting rid of the state's concealed carry permit law on a vote of 68 to 31. If it does become law, anyone over the age of 21 who is eligible to own a gun can carry a concealed weapon without needing a permit. People from 18 to 21 years old would still need to get a permit. Critics say it will put more guns on the street, but supporters say people can better protect themselves.
Well, it certainly sends a warning to criminals that anyone could be packing.
And the message is?
And the message is the less crime we have here, the better off West Virginians are.
We're not protecting ourselves or the citizens in this country by eliminating the right to have a certification and the training. We're allowing anyone over 21 to carry a gun.
The gun bill now moves on to the Senate, where it may face a tougher road. Republicans hold a slim 18 to 16 majority there. Last year, Governor Earl Ray Tomblin vetoed a similar measure.
2 legislative committees are taking opposing positions on the question of West Virginia Turnpike tolls. Should they stay or should they go? The Senate Transportation Committee is considering a bill that would keep tolls on the Turnpike after the current round of 30-year bonds is retired in 2019. That bill cites the $85 million a year the Turnpike produces. Senator Chris Walters says it would be irresponsible to eliminate an $85 million a year source of state revenue, particularly when out-of-state vehicles account for more than $64 million of that amount.
Your secondary roads are going to take longer to be paved. You know, the secondary roads used to be on a short paving cycle. Now they're over 33 years before a road gets paved on a secondary road. So it's just going to be longer, and you're going to see more potholes, and it's going to be harder to drive in a straight line in West Virginia.
Walters also pointed out that West Virginia would receive no additional federal highways funding if the tolls are removed.
Well, a recent bill proposed in the legislature aims to sell health care facilities run by the state. And Jackie Withrow Hospital in Beckley is on that list. 59 News reporter Tiffany Harris brings us more.
The proposed House Bill 4352 was introduced last week. If the bill passes, it would give the Secretary of Department of Health and Human Resources until November 30th to submit a plan to sell the facilities. Vicki Jones, commissioner for the DHHR's Bureau for Behavioral Health and Health Facilities, says if the bill passes, they will cooperate. Jones says they appreciate the hard work and dedication of their employees. She says they provide quality health care to their patients. For Robert Atkins, it's a proposal that hit home. He knows people who benefited from being at the hospital.
I really don't agree with it, simply for the fact that as impoverished as the area is to start with, nobody in the area will be able to afford it if it becomes private. Even with the healthcare system we have, since it's so messed up, nobody will be able to afford it.
Debbie Goodard of Beckley is worried about the hospital's future if it transfers to a private owner.
I think it ought to be state-owned. Why? I think it's taken care of more properly.
Again, House Bill 4352 is just a proposal at this point. In Beckley, Tiffany Harris, 59 News.
Meanwhile, a shortage in grant budgets has forced a domestic violence shelter in McDowell County to let go of some of its employees. Stop Abusive Family Environments, also known as SAFE, announced the layoffs of 5 of its 20 full-time employees at the Welch office last week. Officials there say they've had to make the cuts to the employee roster after seeing decreases in federal grant funding. We sat down with the secretary of the SAFE Board of Directors, Kathy Witt. She says the remaining SAFE employees at Welch have had to take on the duties of laid-off employees, and they are still worried that they could lose their job in the future.
We know that budget cuts are across the board. We know that there are issues that the state has with the budget. But these are services that should not be cut under any circumstances.
Witt says SAFE is looking for other ways to get funding so they can hire back the employees who were laid off.
The trial begins for the mother of a little boy who died in a septic tank in Pulaski County, Virginia. Ashley White and the boy's father, Paul Thomas, are accused of leaving the boy, Noah Thomas, home alone on March 22nd of last year. The boy's body was found in a septic tank near the family's home in Dublin 4 days later. The medical examiner determined that the boy drowned and that hypothermia contributed to his death. Still to come on 59 News at 6, help is needed to make the area more visually appealing.
So what can you do? That's straight ahead. And as we go to break, here's a live look right now high above downtown Lewisburg. We are continuing to follow breaking news out of Raleigh and Mercer counties of a massive pileup on I-77. Storm Tracker 59 Chief Meteorologist Spencer Adkins is back in next. Stay with us.
Now, the area's most accurate forecast. Storm Tracker 59.
Hi everybody. Okay, we're going to start out with that whiteout right now, going from right now toward falling spring. I had some lightning here just a few minutes ago, so even though you're still seeing some blips of green, that is heavy, heavy wet snow. Thunder snow comes down at the rate of at least an inch, if not 2 inches per hour down through Union right now. This is all going to go out to the east. Let's go and check out the big wreck here that occurred. This was right at the flat top area, 77 northbound. There you go. Looking at the video here for the first time, had these trucks that got pulled over there, and you can see how the roadway at the time of the video was taken, which was after the roadway, you know, kind of melted. Sure, but look, okay, see all the emergency vehicles there? There was a whiteout, so everybody had to get down on the brakes, down on the binders. The good news is it looks like a lot of people got stopped before making contact, but there was a scene up previously earlier in that where there was contact here, and our crew was coming up to where the contact was, and you can see now people had to kind of really make some turns. You got trucks there in the median. This is what happens when you get into a whiteout. This is after the whiteout had passed. And here you can see again, these were the trucks that were all going northbound. You can see that one right there, that dairy truck that pulled into the median. Here you got a, looks like some kind of a gravel truck or maybe a coal truck right there. And you can see the plows in trying to come around the outside. Now we're back into this kind of civilian vehicles, if you will. And yeah, look, a lot of people had to just check up. Good news there, I don't see a whole lot of fender to fender, but obviously it was pretty bad. There was a couple spots where there were some wrecks, some contact, but we're still awaiting word. Luckily not hearing word of too many injuries. That is the best news possible. That shows you what happens in a whiteout right there. Okay, wow. That just kind of takes your breath away there for a minute, doesn't it? All right, does me anyhow. All right, watching the bigger picture, we have our area of low pressure up here in Michigan. Huge spinning chunk of snow showers and bursts and squalls, and we'll still see some of those tonight. There's a gap for a couple hours. We have Greenbrier, Summers, Mercer, the western sides with a winter storm warning. That's where we could pick up 6, 10 inches of snow easily, and then up to 6 for everybody else. Now, again, this is coming by in waves, just like you just saw. And thin ribbons of the area will pick up something like those 8 and 10 inches because, again, streamer bands coming in off the Great Lakes. We're in the 30s right now and even some 20s. And we expect to be sitting here in the 20s in the morning, 21 degrees. Obviously, you just saw some of those slick roads. Yeah, the road melted again after the whiteout went through, but it will refreeze. Again, we're in for this for a couple of days. This pattern doesn't break down all that quickly. You can see the expanse of that all the way from Chicago back to Des Moines, east of Omaha, and that's all headed our way. Let's watch now our predictor, and it shows another burst of snow here tonight coming through. That was, again, looked a lot like the initial burst right there, so that could throw down another quick inch or 2 tonight. Then if you'll notice, the clock's still rolling, but we're in that light blue, which just means passing bands of snow. Then watch this. Here's a stripe, there's a stripe, there's a stripe. See these big gaps in between? So when I show you the map, again, you have to draw the map somehow. When I say 4 to 6 from Oak Hill to Beckley to Pineville to Welch to Richlands, it doesn't mean everyone will. There could be bands where you do see more of those 6-inch reports and some a little closer to 4. 6 to 8 plus up here in western Greenbrier, western Pocahontas, right down the spine of the mountains on the flat top. And then it drops off to a dusting if you're, let's say, east of Union. And if you're Madison, Logan, it looks like that's just about 2 to 4. High pressure again for the weekend. but that's driving in more of that Arctic air. It's going to be something. 20 degrees again for tonight, 24 again with extra travel time needed, just like today. I'm going to tell you that everybody did the best job they could out there. Just looking at that video and processing that could have been a lot worse. Because you don't want to pull off, because if you do, somebody's going to hit you, and you got to just kind of keep rolling. It looks like everybody kind of took it down slowly and really did a great job out there. Kudos to all those drivers for doing as good of a job as they did. 18 for Wednesday, 8 in the morning, Thursday, 21 and 27 back-to-back. If you see snow showers, they're real light on Thursday, and watch Friday night just in case. Could be a light one on Saturday. How about those highs, 15 and 16? So, yep, this is why we have our winter weather desk, and why we'll keep you updated here and on social media.
All right, Spencer, thank you. We're continuing to follow breaking news right now on the Mercer-Raleigh County line, and we're hearing that a pileup could involve 20 to 40 vehicles.
It's a mess out there. Right now, we do have a crew on the scene. 59 News reporter Joe Petrello joins us live along Interstate 77 with an update on what's happening. So, Joe, what are you seeing right now?
Jessica, we just got here, but right now, all I see is a lot of flashing lights. There's the fire department here. There's EMS. There is law enforcement out here trying to get these people help. Mercer County 911 reports that along mile marker 24, 20 cars involved in this accident, a major accident here on I-77. Mercer County has sent more than 14 units to help, and right now both the north and southbound lanes are going to be closed. Luckily, the snow has held up here. It's coming down very lightly, so the roads shouldn't see any more snow, but right now EMS is coming to pass by right now. We'll pan the camera over there to show you, and as you can see all along I-77 here by mile marker 24, a lot of flashing lights just trying to get this scene cleared up. Now, I did talk to the West Virginia Parkways Authority, and they say as of right now there are no reported serious injuries or deaths, but of course we will come back to you as soon as there are any updates and bring you whatever new developments may come along here on I-77. Reporting live in Mercer County, Joe Petrello, 59 News.
All right, Joe, stay safe out there, and thank you for that live report. Well, coming up here on 59 News at 6, could legislation aimed at helping prisoners with inflated sentences be a waste of time?
What some lawmakers are saying, that's coming up right after the break here on 59 News at 6.
Now at 6, spring is around the corner, and that means it's time to think about some cleaning up.
The West Virginia Department of Environmental Protection is accepting applications to participate in the annual Make It Shine statewide cleanup. This year's cleanup will be held during the first 2 weeks of April. The deadline to register is February 28th. The DEP says more than 5,000 people removed nearly 190 tons of litter during last year's cleanup. The annual event is sponsored by the DEP and the Division of Highways.
Advocates for Virginia prisoners say a measure aimed at helping inmates who may have been given inflated prison terms would have little impact. Lawmakers have been wrestling with what to do about a group of inmates who may have been unfairly punished because their juries were not informed that Virginia had abolished parole in 1995. A legislative panel endorsed a bill today that would allow some of those inmates to become eligible for parole. But advocates say the bill has been narrowed so much that it will affect just a few people. Well, coming up here on 59 News at 6, it's our Player of the Week.
Keep it here for that story right after the break.
Welcome back. It's time now to recognize our Pantella Mitsubishi Player of the Week.
One local basketball player led his team to some big wins, including a Big Atlantic Classic championship. Last week, the Woodrow Wilson Flying Eagles basketball team went 3-0 thanks in large part to sophomore guard Ty Walton. Walton scored 39 points in all 3 games, doing most of his damage from the three-point line. He hit 5 shots from long range in the Big Atlantic Classic and led Woodrow to wins over Hampshire and Greenbrier East. Ty Walton is this week's Pantella Mitsubishi Player of the Week.
Still to come here on 59 News at 6, we're following breaking news right now as we have the latest on a major accident on I-77.
All the details are coming up with a live report after the break. Before we go to break, though, a look at tonight's 59 News Facebook Fan of the Day. This is Gracie Daniel of Alderson. This was sent to us by her mother, Connie. Thanks so much for that picture. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. We're continuing to follow breaking news tonight of a massive interstate pileup.
Between 20 and 40 cars are involved in a crash along I-77 northbound. Now, this is right near the Mercer-Raleigh County line.
Let's get straight now to 59 News reporter Joe Petrello. He is standing by live right now along I-77 with the very latest. So, Joe, what are you learning and what are you seeing out there?
Tim, I'm at mile marker 24 right now on I-77. Mercer County 911 is reporting that more than 20 vehicles involved in this major accident. But state police have told me around 17 or 18. And state police have also told me that 5 people have been transported to the hospital for minor injuries. There have been no deaths reported or no serious injuries, but still 5 have been transported to treat minor injuries. You can see all the flashing lights out here right now. The fire department is out here from Gent. EMS is here. Police, law enforcement, state police, a lot going on out here right now. But as I said, the injury level is limited right now. 5 have been transported to the hospital, but for minor injuries. The northbound has been shut down. And if you take a look at the roads here, still very slick. So if you can avoid driving, stay inside, especially if you're going to head out this way. But right now, crews out here trying to clean up the scene. A lot of the aftermath still out here right now. I talked to the fire department of Gent, and they say that it's going to take at least an hour to clean up this scene. Right now, everybody's out here, and we'll see what happens next because... anyways, we'll see what happens next because they are out here right now trying to clean up the scene. We'll bring any updates that may come along. Reporting live in Mercer County, Joe Petrello, 59 News.
Joe, thanks for that live report.
Before we say goodbye tonight, it's also time to announce the winner of our National Grammy contest. Heather Price from Portland, Oregon is the lucky winner. She'll be getting a free trip to the Grammys next Monday, which you can watch on CBS 59.
That's all the time that we have for you here on 59 News at 6.
You can read these stories and more at WVNSTV.com. Have a great night.
Will be running for re-election. In the conference room of the Harrison County Sheriff's Office today, Sheriff Bristolera declared that he would not be retiring from the department after all. He says when word got out that he was going to leave, he began receiving phone calls and support from residents who were very satisfied with the Sheriff's Department and did not want him to leave. Bristolera says he instantly felt regret upon initially announcing his retirement, and his love of the job, coupled with the community support, changed his mind.
A lot of thought went into this. A lot of citizens have approached me trying to get me to run for a 3rd term. After listening to all the citizens that came to me, sitting down with my chief deputy and everything, we felt this might be the best thing to do.
Bristolera had endorsed his chief deputy, Landy Phillips, for that position, but Phillips has withdrawn from the race and is backing the sheriff. Last night, a mysterious explosion was reported in North Gulfport in the area of Lizana. Now, when News 25 called police around 9:30 last night, they said it was only gunshots.
News 25's Sarah Duffy explored the situation today and found out it was much more than innocent gunfire. She joins us live with more. Sarah.
Thanks, guys. We're here on Mennonite Road in Lizana, where a car exploded right behind me last night. Residents say that the explosion was so great that it caused their houses to shake and even fixtures to fall off the walls. But when they tried to get in touch with law enforcement to find out what happened, they couldn't get a straight answer.
Wanda Walker and her husband JT were relaxing at their home off Mennonite Road in Lizana when they heard an explosion around 8 p.m.
It shook our houses. It threw pictures off the wall. It threw particles on our homes and sheds, and there's nothing they can do.
When they called the police, they said not to worry, it was just gunfire.
We called the law, and they wouldn't even come out.
It was horrible. We were shaking, and it was miles and miles, and everybody calling us to see if we're okay because they said it was Lizana on Mennonite Road, and it was just horrible, and nothing happened.
Today, when News 25 followed up with law enforcement, Harrison County Sheriff Melvin Bristolera says the situation is under control. With a bit of hesitation, the sheriff revealed his son and friends were the ones who filled this vehicle with explosives and fired at it with shotguns, causing the loud explosion.
It is believed they used tannerite, which is an explosive marketed usually for exploding targets used in firearm practice.
Apparently they used too much of it, and it detonated, and the bang was a lot more than they thought it would be.
Tannerite is a legal explosive sold in outdoor sporting stores, but Lizana resident Janice Johnson doesn't think it's something to play with. Her son was hit with a bomb while serving in Iraq. The explosion last night shook him up.
I don't think it was anything they were joking around with, and if it was, it wasn't very funny, because I know there's a lot of vets out here, and I do know how upset he was, how scared he looked by the time I got home. So if it was a joke, I don't appreciate it.
The owner of the land where the explosion happened, along with Sheriff Brisolera, say the young men will not be shooting guns in the area ever again.
News 25 spoke with the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Agency to find out more about Tannerite. They said since there's no legal limit to how much you can have and does not require a permit or license to carry, they will not be investigating this case. Reporting live in Lizana, Sarah Duffy, News 25.
Thanks, Sarah. The Federal Aviation Administration was on the scene today investigating yesterday's plane crash in Stone County. A small single-propeller airplane crashed just after 6 p.m. on Oil Well Road, just north of Flint Creek Water Park. According to the Stone County Sheriff's Department, the plane lost power, flew into some trees, and finally crashed in a nearby field. The pilot and 3 passengers were transported to Forest General Hospital in Hattiesburg, where they were being treated for non-life-threatening injuries.
Absolute miracle. From the looks of the wreckage, it's just a miracle that they were all able to literally walk away. Right now, our position is just to stand by and offer them any assistance and to maintain the security of the scene. Sheriff's deputies will remain on scene until the wreckage is completely cleared, which will be sometime tomorrow.
The FAA arrived on scene at 10 this morning and will continue to investigate exactly what caused this crash. The 3 men were all from Texas.
It was a beautiful day today. How much did you get out?
Not much at all, unfortunately. Here is forecaster Nick Patrick. It gets in the way sometimes with the look at your weather. Nick.
Well, plenty of sunshine today, certainly, but today's high is fairly mild. Only made it to 90 degrees here in Gulfport, 89 for Biloxi. Had a little bit of a breeze out there from the north. Felt pretty good outside, certainly, and we're going to continue to see those clear skies all the way through tonight. Take a look at this Doppler edge. Really nothing at all today, showing a little bit of a regional view. A few showers and thunderstorms there in Louisiana, but for us, we have been very sunny today. That will continue. Taking a look at those overnight conditions, 73 degrees for our overnight low. Clear, mild, just a light breeze from the southwest. But these breezes will pick up tomorrow. A little bit more moisture in the area, and we could see some storms this weekend. When will they get here? I'll let you know in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Nick. Once again, Ingalls gets ready to christen one of its Coast Guard cutters.
After more than 2 years, the ship will finally be named and given a sponsor. News 25's Alyssa Meisner has more.
James will officially be christened tomorrow as a U.S. Coast Guard cutter ship, charged with patrolling U.S. waters and protecting our borders once it is completed. And those working on the ship are proud to be a part of such a mission.
I mean, the pride is up big time. The ship is looking good. The other Coast Guard just went out on sea trial, I think, Tuesday, and it's been successful. So hopefully this ship will be too.
While Ingalls still has work to do, eventually James will house 115 members. This is a smaller crew due to technological advancements, and that means long-term savings for the American people.
The good news for the American public and the American taxpayers is that when the Coast Guard gets a ship, we run these things for a long time. So this class of ships is replacing a class of ships that's over 40 years of age.
At a time when Department of Defense cuts are on everyone's mind, Ingalls says this cutter for the National Coast Guard is the most efficient of its kind.
These national security cutters are replacing about 12 other ships that we've had out there, and those are the high endurance cutters. So with some improvements in terms of how we crew them, how we man them, how long we run them, we gain a little bit more efficiency.
James will patrol waters from its home in Charleston, South Carolina, down to the Eastern Caribbean. Meanwhile, Ingalls workers put on the final touches to send out its latest ship that will serve the men and women who protect America. In Pascagoula, Alyssa Meisner, News 25.
Tonight, the New Orleans Saints return home to the Superdome for Week 2 of the preseason, taking on the Tennessee Titans. Joining us live in New Orleans outside of the Superdome is News 25's Katarina Lukatic with a preview of tonight's game.
We are live in Champion Square, where it is literally a party behind me as fans are eagerly awaiting this home opener tonight. Now, The Saints defeated the St. Louis Rams 26-24 in last week's contest, and they will be making the look improvements in all phases of the game as they continue to prepare for their season opener at Atlanta on September 28th. The Stars will look to see a bigger role in tonight's contest. However, signal caller Drew Brees looks like he will be on the sideline again with a minor oblique injury. Head coach Sean Payton says Drew Brees has been doing more in practice every day, but he doesn't want to rush the quarterback's recovery.
It's progressing well, so all those things are good signs, and each day he does a little bit more, you know, with the training room and then out here, and we just keep working on the rehab and making sure functionally that we're not stressing it to where it sets them back.
Kickoff for tonight's game is set for 7 o'clock, and we will have more to report for you from the Superdome tonight at 9 and 10. Live in New Orleans, Katerina Lukatich, News 25.
It's a place to be right there tonight.
Absolutely, that's the place to be.
Party time. After the break, Nick Patrick will have a detailed forecast. But first, there's a look at your tides for tomorrow.
The Weather Edge, brought to you by Mississippi Power. For hurricane safety tips and more, visit our Storm Center at MississippiPower.com. We're storm ready. Are you?
Well, after some below average overnight conditions, we've started to warm up a bit here in South Mississippi. Looking at those feels like conditions across the United States, still cool in the Midwest and Chicago, Buffalo coming in very much below average temperatures. But right now for us, we're sitting really right where we should be. 91 degrees, the feels like conditions in Gulfport. Still staying away from those feels like conditions that we've had a little bit earlier this week near the 100-degree mark. So still a fairly nice day out there. Plenty of sunshine sticking around. Other feels like conditions though, Goshen, you're the hot spot right now. 102. Still a lot of that humidity coming into the coast and really, but for the most part, starting to stay very cool. 94 degrees in Biloxi, 93 in Wiggins. These should cool off quickly again tonight. And we're looking at another clear and cool evening. Looking at that MDOT traffic cam, steady traffic out of Biloxi right now downtown, looking along Highway 90. A beautiful shot there, the sun reflecting off the water nicely. Saw a few people in the pool there earlier. They've started to clear out a little bit, but it should be a great evening to be outside. 88 degrees. Notice the relative humidity in the around the 55% range right now. That's only bumping up those feels like conditions about 5 to 6 degrees, a little bit more than we had yesterday. Winds out of the south-southwest have really been amplifying that, so we're going to look at those winds to continue out of the south. But for tonight, we're going to be looking nice and clear. Doppler edge showing that right now. Really nothing along South Mississippi, and over the last 3 hours or so, notice really no activity at all as far as the Doppler edge is showing. So some clear skies out there. That high pressure starting to track off a little bit though. We notice that as we take a little bit wider look at the Doppler edge for us here in Mississippi and really for much of the southeast, a few clouds starting to drift our way. These really aren't going to be playing an impact, though. We should be looking mostly clear until we make it into the weekend, and not just the weekend, the late weekend as we head into tomorrow and tonight. Looking at the future edge, not showing a whole lot of anything until Saturday morning. It is bringing in a stray shower or two. I'm just expecting that it's picking up on that amount of moisture in the atmosphere. I'm expecting really just a few clouds, if anything, Saturday morning, and we should stay mostly dry all the way through Saturday. It does have a slight chance for some showers there, but I'm banking on mostly sunny skies, but the humidity, that's what's going to be picking up as we head into that Saturday afternoon. Now Sunday morning, a very similar start. We should see mostly sunny skies, but the chance of showers certainly amplifies all day Sunday. Notice by the afternoon, future edge brings in a little bit more moisture there, and that's going to be our best chance for some showers. Really only about a 30% chance at the moment, but that could certainly bump up as we head a little bit later into that weekend. Looking at tonight's lows, another nice cool evening ahead. 68 degrees for Picayune, 72 degrees in Long Beach, so some nice cool overnight skies to help keep us clear tonight. 70 degrees for Saucia and Loosedale there, and it should be a fairly nice start to that weekend. Temperatures bump up though, sunny skies for Saturday before we see that chance of showers. As I mentioned, it is going to be sticking around. Low chances, but we're getting that humidity back up once again. These cool overnight temperatures won't be sticking around much longer.
This Sunday, the Gulf Coast will pay special remembrance to a storm many people call the worst to ever hit the area. 45 years ago, Hurricane Camille pummeled the Gulf Coast, causing extensive destruction to homes, businesses, lands, and lives, with winds estimated close to 200 miles per hour. At 2 o'clock Sunday at the Orr O'Keefe Museum of Art and the city of Biloxi, teaming up to present Camille, the 45th anniversary remembrance. The ceremony will be held at the Sanger Theater in Biloxi. A 1970s film about the storm will be presented along with a never-seen-before interview with then Biloxi Mayor Daniel Geis Sr. The late mayor is credited with saving many lives of local residents with an early warning to leave the area.
He just began his third term 1 month before Hurricane Camille struck. So Judge Geis is going to discuss what he saw and how the city persevered and how the city was able to rebuild.
Pasch Christian will also hold a Hurricane Camille ceremony Sunday at 10 a.m. at War Memorial Park.
Coming up on News 25, we'll let you know about a film being shot out of a new production studio in Gulfport. Stay with us. We're coming right back.
The Weather Edge, brought to you by Mississippi Power. For hurricane safety tips and more, visit our storm center at MississippiPower.com. We're storm ready. Are you?
Well, after some below average overnight conditions, we've started to warm up a bit here in South Mississippi. Looking at those feels like conditions across the United States, still cool in the Midwest and Chicago, Buffalo coming in very much below average temperatures. But right now for us, we're sitting really right where we should be. 91 degrees, the feels like conditions in Gulfport. Still staying away from those feels like conditions that we've had a little bit earlier this week near the 100-degree mark. So still a fairly nice day out there. Plenty of sunshine sticking around. Other feels like conditions though, Goshen, you're the hot spot right now. 102. Still a lot of that humidity coming into the coast and really, but for the most part, starting to stay very cool. 94 degrees in Biloxi, 93 in Wiggins. These should cool off quickly again tonight. And we're looking at another clear and cool evening. Looking at that MDOT traffic cam, steady traffic out of Biloxi right now downtown, looking along Highway 90. A beautiful shot there, the sun reflecting off the water nicely. Saw a few people in the pool there earlier. They've started to clear out a little bit, but it should be a great evening to be outside. 88 degrees. Notice the relative humidity in the around the 55% range right now. That's only bumping up those feels like conditions about 5 to 6 degrees, a little bit more than we had yesterday. Winds out of the south-southwest have really been amplifying that, so we're going to look at those winds to continue out of the south. But for tonight, we're going to be looking nice and clear. Doppler edge showing that right now. Really nothing along South Mississippi, and over the last 3 hours or so, notice really no activity at all as far as the Doppler edge is showing. So some clear skies out there. That high pressure starting to track off a little bit though. We notice that as we take a little bit wider look at the Doppler edge for us here in Mississippi and really for much of the southeast, a few clouds starting to drift our way. These really aren't going to be playing an impact, though. We should be looking mostly clear until we make it into the weekend, and not just the weekend, the late weekend as we head into tomorrow and tonight. Looking at the future edge, not showing a whole lot of anything until Saturday morning. It is bringing in a stray shower or two. I'm just expecting that it's picking up on that amount of moisture in the atmosphere. I'm expecting really just a few clouds, if anything, Saturday morning, and we should stay mostly dry all the way through Saturday. It does have a slight chance for some showers there, but I'm banking on mostly sunny skies, but the humidity, that's what's going to be picking up as we head into that Saturday afternoon. Now Sunday morning, a very similar start. We should see mostly sunny skies, but the chance of showers certainly amplifies all day Sunday. Notice by the afternoon, future edge brings in a little bit more moisture there, and that's going to be our best chance for some showers. Really only about a 30% chance at the moment, but that could certainly bump up as we head a little bit later into that weekend. Looking at tonight's lows, another nice cool evening ahead. 68 degrees for Picayune, 72 degrees in Long Beach, so some nice cool overnight skies to help keep us clear tonight. 70 degrees for Saucia and Loosedale there, and it should be a fairly nice start to that weekend. Temperatures bump up though, sunny skies for Saturday before we see that chance of showers. As I mentioned, it is going to be sticking around. Low chances, but we're getting that humidity back up once again. These cool overnight temperatures won't be sticking around much longer.
This Sunday, the Gulf Coast will pay special remembrance to a storm many people call the worst to ever hit the area. 45 years ago, Hurricane Camille pummeled the Gulf Coast, causing extensive destruction to homes, businesses, lands, and lives, with winds estimated close to 200 miles per hour. At 2 o'clock Sunday at the Orr O'Keefe Museum of Art and the City of Biloxi, teaming up to present Camille, the 45th anniversary remembrance. The ceremony will be held at the Sanger Theater in Biloxi. A 1970s film about the storm will be presented, along with a never-seen-before interview with then Biloxi Mayor Daniel Geis Sr. The late mayor is credited with saving many lives of local residents with an early warning to leave the area.
He just began his third term 1 month before Hurricane Camille struck. So Judge Geis is going to discuss what he saw and how the city persevered and how the city was able to rebuild.
Pass Christian will also hold a Hurricane Camille ceremony Sunday at 10 a.m. at War Memorial Park.
Coming up on News 25, we'll let you know about a film being shot out of a new production studio in Gulfport. Stay with us. We're coming right back.
Filming is in its second week now for Impact Earth, a film about a science professor who believes Earth is about to be hit by a giant meteor.
Wow. Now that film is being shot out of a new production studio in Gulfport. The facility was once better known as the Harrison County Skate Park on DeBeese Road. News 25's Alyssa Meisner reports those skateboards have been replaced with filmmaking clapboards.
Actors were just breaking for lunch when News 25 stopped by the set of Impact Earth. Executive producer Chris Brown says while it's the first time many of the actors and crew have worked in Mississippi, they're all enjoying the experience.
They're great people. You know, they mean what they say and they say what they mean. I've found no issues with regards to the type of professionals they have down here.
But Brown and others on set believe Mississippi is an untapped market with a variety of landscapes, beaches, woods, the Gulf, and opportunities to train a young workforce.
We're looking to create jobs. We're looking to work with the colleges and the schools. We're working with the Biloxi School. We're working with the colleges here. We just want to just open everything up that we possibly can to put Mississippi on the map, but use everybody that lives here.
Owner Paula Lindsay says she looks forward to more production studios opening up, but for now she has already seen the positive economic impacts of her studio on the Gulf Coast.
And being a local person here and a local businesswoman, I see where it's going to help our restaurants. It's going to help my other business and you know, anything from clothing stores to restaurants, hairstylists, you know, you name it.
King says Impact Earth and another film he completed last year already put more than $1.5 million into the local economy. In Gulfport, Alyssa Meisner, News 25.
Mississippi Gulf Coast Studios says they hope Impact Earth will be completed next year. A mile of Highway 63 in Jackson County is now a new name, paying honor to Army Sergeant John E. Wells. Now, Sergeant Wells gave his life for our country back in 1969 during the Vietnam War. At today's dedication ceremony, family members told stories, they sang songs, and even danced in his honor. Many of the local officials at the ceremony served in Vietnam the same time as Sergeant Wells.
In 68, 69, it's certainly an honor to be here. The family is very, very tight family, very they generate the love for family. It's what's family all about. I think it's an excellent dedication to a ceremony. I'm glad to be part of it and honored to be here.
Highway 63 played an important role in Sergeant Wells' life, connecting him to friends, family, and loved ones.
Coming up on News 25, we'll show you a road that if you go to the beach in Alabama, you will love. If you're a fan of going to Gulf Shores, you won't want to miss our next story.